Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek Bytes podcast. I am Ramon Mejia. This is episode number 130. This guy is
Edgardo Acosta. I'm here too.
He's here. He exists. That is true. Absolutely. Every single week on the podcast, we bring you the round of the week's best geek and tech news. We discuss that news. And of course, anything else that we happen to be interested in this week. I'm going to move this a little forward.
No worries. And of course, in this geek news this week, we'll talk about Star Wars vehicles, the multiple Batman news stories, and some geeky new movies that we recently just viewed.
Absolutely. And of course, we begin our show, though, with geek news. And let's see, I will start off the show with the first news article about the Banshee Schmanshee new vehicles coming out for Star Wars. There are two new vehicles released, pictures of them from the new movie The Last Jedi. One is called the ATM-6 Walker, which stands for All Terrain Mega Caliber 6. It's essentially a big version of the AT-AT. Its special feature, reinforced legs. So that
they learned this time.
Yeah, so this is not susceptible to Jedi spin around hover tricks. So good for them that they learned their lessons. Also is known as the First Order Dreadnought, which is essentially a large version of the Star Destroyer from, I think it's episode 4.
Yeah.
It's about 6 times longer. So apparently the First Order thinks bigger is better. That's their methodology. Is either one of these exciting to you at all?
I wasn't sure what was going on with the new upgraded AT-AT because the way it almost looks like a paw-like kind of thing, because the thing always looked like a dog.
Yeah. It's supposed to be described. It's described as like a gorilla.
I
kind of vibe to it, like we're like walking on like these like legs like this.
Not exactly a silverback, but
yeah.
I want to see more of the upgrades on it because you don't see the little front cannon guns on the headpiece, if you will, sticking out as much as it used to. The back legs look very traditional, but the front leg does look reinforced, like that we talked about just now. I want to see more like transformability because I always thought, especially with the evolvement of technology and especially with okay, all right,
yeah, camera's a little fuzzy.
Okay. I was expecting more upgraded in weapons, more like Transformer-ish style, and the Dreadnought just looks like
it has supposed to have like a giant, like Earth, like surface to space cannon. Apparently, on the bottom looks like a little penis on it, though.
Pretty much, it's like a very gray flatbread pizza.
Yeah, it's a very big space penis, as far as I can tell.
So, I don't expect it to turn into like an upgraded version of Mega Maid from Spaceballs. But
that would be funny. I guess it would be trans if it was a maid with a penis. I don't know.
No, but I think it's going to be almost like the joke in Spaceballs. Hey, Arlene, how's it going? I think it's going to be. It almost reflects as a joke in Spaceballs too, like in the intro where that does the under camera view where it's going, and it just goes on for like forever. Like
that's the opening scroll on the movie. It's just showing off this like super long, like 25,000 foot long spaceship.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the middle like old Warner Brothers joke. Is like ridiculous, ain't it?
Yeah.
And then it keeps going. But I want to see more of the ups. I want to see the upgraded stormtroopers. I want to see the upgraded.
Well, they showed the First Order stormtroopers, which just kind of turns out to be. Her Captain Phasma's supposed to come back. That's that chrome one. Yeah. The lady version, the stormtrooper. She's supposed to have a bigger part in this movie than she did in the other movie. So hopefully she has better stuff.
Like her actually shooting and
actually doing stuff instead of just getting the shaft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm going to see like more an upgraded version of the stormtrooper outfit instead of being kind of clunkier, more kind of.
I'm looking forward to actually seeing the like Emperor's special guards.
Oh yeah.
Do something like
those ones guys, in the red.
Yeah. Instead of just them standing there, like actually fight. Like those guys actually do something.
That was always my pet peeve, especially like even with Vader, because he had that like shoulder pad / helmet. It was almost like the old Batman, like Michael Keaton Batman, where it looks like he has to turn his whole body.
Yeah, doesn't have the neck movement. Yeah,
I want him to be able to just like, all right, let's do this.
I really love the transition between the Rogue One and Episode 4. I think that was like a perfect like just amazing. Like just seeing him like go badass, like using force powers finally for once.
Oh yeah.
Like just choking out guys and like cutting them down with lightsabers. Like that was a great transition period between like the old, like the new stuff and like the old stuff.
Especially when he caught that beam in mid shot from like a blaster, and you're like, oh my god.
Well, no, I remember from at the end of Rogue One, Vader actually boards the spaceship that has his plans. Yeah, and he's like killing people left and right. Like that was badass. Yeah, you're thinking of. I don't think he catches the beam in that one, does he? I think that's like Kylo Ren in.
There you go.
In the next one, Force Awakens. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't wait to see it. I want to see more stuff, and you know what it is? Toys.
That's
so for those collectors, it's a new toy for them to buy.
It's
so
toys.
It's like, oh my god! Like,
what? I can't just have the AT-AT. I have to have Gorilla AT-AT, and then Silverback Gorilla AT-AT.
Oh yeah, and then
you can see like the toy. You can see like the toy commercials. You don't want that stupid AT-AT anymore. You need Gorilla Back AT-AT.
Bam! New and improved.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's just merchandising.
Like $9 million. Bug your parents.
Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen towards, like, obviously they got one more after this, not counting the standalone flicks.
No, I think they're probably going to go past like episode 9. They just don't have it scheduled yet. Like we talked about this last weekend that they're doing standalone films more. They have young Han Solo. They're going to do an Obi-Wan Kenobi one. They're going to do a Boba Fett one, and also for some reason Jabba the Hutt.
When I still can't get over.
I'm like thinking it's a gangster film or something like Smugglers Galore. I don't know, or maybe like the Hutts are just part of it, but it's a larger like crime story film.
Yeah.
But you know, plenty of standalone films. We have 8 and 9 left, and I really doubt that they're going to end like the major Star Wars franchise there. They might stop calling it numbers, and just go with like, oh, these are just movies now,
or like the Star Wars Chronicles or whatever kind of stuff.
Who knows?
Yeah.
They might kill off all the old crew. I'm like, here's just the new guys. You like that? Ha ha.
The next generation.
And then they just show up as like ghosts later on.
That's true.
The CGI versions of themselves.
Ghost Heaven's gonna be like full of. You think it'd be
just
like
Jedi?
Yeah, just like, all right,
hey man, how you doing?
There's too many of you guys.
Qui-Gon, nice to meet you.
Exactly. Yeah, all right.
There you go. Okay, on to our next story. This one's yours.
All right. Let's see. 24 legacy actress Ann Diop. I'm gonna go with Diop. Has been cast in the role of Starfire in the upcoming live-action Teen Titans series Titans. According to Deadline, Diop's Starfire, aka Coriander?
We'll go with yes.
Okay, Coriander. Coriander is an alien princess from the warrior planet who seeks asylum on Earth. A nonsense, take no prisoner stranger on our world. She has the ability to shoot energy bolts and fly. Searching for her place on Earth, she'll come into contact with the Titans.
Yep, so there you go. So we're going to get Starfire in the live-action version of Teen Titans. So, yay. I mean, I think the Teen Titans are interesting. It definitely appeals to a younger market than just, like, the older crowd of DC superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely expanding into younger audiences with Teen Titans, with the Squirrel Girl. I forget the name of that team.
New Warriors?
The New Warriors, yeah. And, of course, we have the guys from outer space. What are they called? The one with the lady with the long hair. With Medusa.
Inhumans.
The Inhumans, yeah.
Then, of course, there's the Runaways.
Which is also a thing for one of the, like, cable channels. Like, one of the...
Yeah.
Like, those people. Yeah,
okay.
So lots of young people.
Now, seeing the obvious. She is a African-American... I don't want to say
you're right. That is
person.
Yeah, no, she's from Africa. She's I think I say like Nigerian. I don't know.
Anywho, pros and cons. Do you think they're going to keep her as natural as possible, or she will don the whole attire and become an orange / red hair?
That's what they did with Gamora.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
They did full on skin makeup.
Yeah,
because that's what the character looked like. She has green skin, and Starfire has orange skin.
Yeah.
So I don't see that being too big of an issue.
No. That was fun. Kind of weird. Like even black people can't even be black in space. The only thing
this character's not black. She's an alien from another planet.
I know. But my thing was just kind of funny that because like,
without blackwashing her, I mean, she's an actual alien.
No, that part I get. But the only part that I didn't understand is, especially depending on certain lead roles, is like the only way an African American person could become a main character has to literally don a whole.
Sometimes they take over for the white guy. An example of not Black Tower. I can't remember anything today. Remember the Dark Tower?
Yes.
Roland is not black in that novel series. He's white. On the cover of all those books is a white dude. with guns.
I thought it was a play on the joke of being all in the shadows, which
no, the Man in Black is a shadowy figure, like the bad guy. And
okay,
yeah, and so they made him a white dude, and I think the role or the change doesn't affect the character as much as them just making a bad movie adaptation. But the character itself works very well with that character. So I do understand saying that minorities have a harder time getting lead roles. That's true. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. But in this case, I don't know that that's quite the case, and it's okay to picture aliens as aliens.
Okay. Now, I've never read the Teen Titans comic book, but I did watch the animated series and a variety of
the animated series. I love the Cartoon Network version of like the Teen. They're doing a new season apparently as well.
Now, do you think they're going to do the same approach, either the animated version of obviously she's an alien, has her own language, but the way that she could adapt / learn another language is by making kissing, out? Yeah. Do you think they're going to go that route?
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be her and Robin's like touch and go point of like, oh, they're starting their relationship, or I'm still not sure they're going to have it as whether it's going to be Robin or Nightwing.
Yeah, that was my other question. I'm not sure what they're going to do.
Because depending upon the history, like, or which series or timeline you're looking at, it changes.
I feel like Robin's been done, especially now that they got Damian.
It just kind of depends on which universe they're playing, because they're playing from the comics. Then okay, you have Damian Wayne, which is young Robin, and then you have Nightwing,
yes,
which is what's his name?
I want to say Burt Ward, but
no,
Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson. Yeah, so it's usually Dick Grayson as Nightwing is an older version of that character. But if you go with the cartoon version, then it's Robin and Starfire.
Yeah.
Robin in that version is still Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
So like it just kind of depends.
And I'm wondering, of course, the attire, because there's like Arlene's obviously she's seen the animated
Arlene
version.
On the chat room says same with her. She's only familiar with the animated series too, and so maybe that's the popular version. But if they're trying to keep it within the DC universe with the movies, then there is no Robin there, and so that this would be his introduction to that cinematic universe.
I want to see her outfit because obviously Starfire has been a character that has been done in the live cosplay, and obviously
very chesty.
Not just chesty, it's been done very well and very sexy. I'm just hopefully they also don't give her. If you guys ever watched the, I think it was the Judas Complex, where they gave her almost like a Sailor Moon transformation into her costume, where she literally almost had like the wand that did the weird splits and the rotating camera kind of deal. Well, we'll see how that goes.
I prefer they do the anime like making fun of that version of it, like this big burly dude, and then he transforms like the same naked, almost semi look.
Oh yeah.
Those are always funny too. So good information. I have no idea who this actress is, but she's good on 24 Legacy, which is a show I've never seen. I'm like, yay! I'm just happy that we're getting to see Teen Titans, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. Right. Next story.
DC.
This one's me.
Yeah.
And this is our start of like a bunch of Batman news that came out this week apparently. And there's a lot actually. So we begin with Deadline reports that Warner Brothers and DC are in the early stages of another Batman universe spin-off movie. This one telling the origin story of the signature villain, the Joker. Is it really the Joker, or is it just Joker? Meh. The studio has set the Hangover's Todd Phillip to co-write a script with 8 Mile scribe Scott Silver. Phillip will direct the movie, and Martin Scorsese, that's right, that guy, will produce it with Phillips. This will be the first film under a new banner that is yet to be named, in which the WB can expand the canon of DC properties and create unique storylines with different actors playing the iconic characters. Additionally, now this is the second part of that story, THR reports that Glenn Ficarri and John Requia are writing a Joker and Harley Quinn movie, bringing the two iconic DC villains together for their own criminal love story. This one is supposed to star Jared Leto and Margot Robbie, the same characters that are from the Suicide Squad. They're in negotiations to reprise their roles for this particular film. If that doesn't work, I'm sure they can get different actors and actresses, but you kind of want at least Margot Robbie, and you're willing to take Jared Leto.
If it's not Mad Love,
that would be the story.
Yeah, I don't see where they're going to go.
They call it a criminal love story, but I'm like, it's the Mad Love story. Like, come on.
Story. I heard, if I'm not right, they were actually going to, especially be an origin story, they're going to give him they officially gave Joker an origin name.
Oh, no, this was for an alternate universe Joker. This was more recent news. This is not like the main story, because in the DC Comics, they're doing a bunch of like in Marvel did like a bunch of like multi-universes combining, and so you get Miles Morales with Peter Parker all in the same universe, and like Spider-Gwen. They're sort of doing the same thing with DC. DC's copying them. And that this is the latest story, but a bunch of Jokers and Batmans are coming into the world, and one of these versions of alternate storyline Joker, it has an actual name that's official canon for that alternate universe. Yeah. So it's kind of, to me, it's just a publicity stunt. And it's some weird name that's supposed to be tied on to like some other alternate version of the Joker. That's why it's not in our stories. I'm like, that's not really a story as much as it is just marketing.
Well, yeah, because if I read it correctly, I think that storyline, I think they adapted the Tim Burton Batman, and I think his name's Jack Napier.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're referring to, and when they talk about it, yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But sticking to this thing, Mad Love, it's going to be a little debatable because it's going to be about, of course, a very physical and not in like emotional romantic, more of spousal abuse kind of.
Well, there's also genuine love, I think, as far as the Joker can do such a thing. From Harley Quinn, there's definitely adoration.
Oh yeah,
and affection for the Joker character, and kind of his madness that infects her, and freeing her from the confines of academia as an actual psychologist. I mean, that is part of the storyline, in that he's that free spirit, and she falls in love with that, and at the same time, his crazy includes abuse. But it also goes back to genuine affection and treating her special like that. That's why in Suicide Squad he went to save her, because that is part of his psychology, in that he's abusive and he kind of treats her as property, but at the same point he will go and murder a bunch of people to get her.
So it's almost like a semi-Ike and Tina kind of deal,
It's an extreme version of that, yeah. But I mean, that is part of the attraction of that Mad Love storyline. That yes, this is real and this happens to people, and this is just an example of somebody getting out of that and in a fictionalized superhero kind of way.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. They have to have at least Batman involved one way or another in it. So my only question, if they do, will it be Ben Affleck?
That is the big question these days. It'll kind of depend on how this movie goes. If this movie just like scores a bunch of dollar signs, Ben's there forever. But if it tanks, then alternate universe Ben Affleck might come in, or like new Bruce Wayne, like Flashpoint might actually reset the DC universe, and like then you get a new Batman. That's how they might justify it.
Like it's not been done before. So
that's how you do this kind of thing.
All right.
Okay. Next story. Now this one's kind of creepy, but it's very cool. Like the art style work is super awesome. We'll share it with you guys.
It's very metal.
Absolutely.
Covered. All right. So earlier this month, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, Dark Knight's Metal One set up DC's newest event that briefly teased the evil incarnations of Batman who are invading the DC universe. 6 of the evil Batmans were apparently mashed up of Bruce Wayne's alter ego with other well-known heroes like the Flash, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. However, DC held back on revealing the Batman who laughs until now, and we can see why. Via DC's official site, the first look of Batman Who Laughs seems to confirm that the villain is a nightmarish mix of the Joker and Batman. So it looks very, once again, metal, very kind of, God, how can I describe it? It's Hellraiser.
It's Hellraiser, basically.
It's Hellraiser.
With Batman, yeah.
He got the chain things happening. He looks like he has a version of demonic Robins with the Joker virus, kind of like infected with them.
I thought this was like vampire kids or something.
Yes,
and I think they're all different. They're all the Robins. So it's like the Tim Drake, it's the Damian Wayne, it's all of them.
Yeah, but the part that, of course, to give him the semi-classic Joker smile is the metal like eye headband kind of visor thing. Like Geordie LaForge at a metal show kind of.
Yeah, the headband thing definitely grows with like, oh, bats are blind, but this also is like a Hellraiser thing.
Exactly.
That's like the perfect touch of like, oh, this is Hellraiser, like evil vibe. But it's supposed to be the Joker combined with Batman, and it's not clear whether it's Bruce Wayne in an alternate universe who had the Joker formula, and so he went crazy, or if it's the Joker. Who took on, maybe he murdered Batman, who he got super powerful, and he took on the mantle of himself.
It's been done before, because that's a little teaser, especially in this little photo that we have of him holding a card where it looks like all the members of the Justice League with all their heads on like pikes. But It's been done before where the Joker has adopted, and I think it's once again one of those multi-universes kind of thing. He adapted the Batman persona, if you will, but it's the Joker. So it was like an extreme dark version, as with the course quote unquote sense of humor. They even done that in the animated series called like The Batman, where the Joker was dressed up as Batman, but instead of having like the classic like Batman shaped utility belt items kind of thing.
Yep.
It would be all his gags.
Yeah.
Just modified, if you will.
Yeah. So, but this is definitely a dark version of that.
Oh, totally.
And I think this is a metal as heck. Like the artwork alone is like very creepy. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And it definitely going to draw in a darker audience. I'm like, oh, that's fine. But that's what the comics do. They had to sell these comics every single week, every single month of every single year to make a profit. So having these creative storylines, even if they are just promotional stuff to grab readers again, is not uncommon. So but this is metal, and I thought you like it.
Totally,
yeah.
it's totally the mashup that
I feel like this is the version of Batman you'd hang up on your wall.
Oh yeah. Totally. Hellraiser Batman. Yeah. Oh man, you know what's gonna happen? Toys. Comics for sure.
I feel like there's a Seth MacFarlane Batman version of this coming out.
Exactly. And if, depending on the popularity, the story's good enough, animated. Live action would be amazing.
I wouldn't mind seeing an animated version of this if it's a good storyline. We're going to talk about another live animated version of a Batman storyline that I'm not as stoked about, but it is topical. This one is actually going to be steampunk Batman. Actually, it's called Batman and Gaslamp, I think it's called. Gaslight, yeah. Gas lamp, gaslight. It's gassy, whatever. But it's supposed to be like a semi-Victorian era, like Sherlock Holmesian world, where for some reason Batman's there. He doesn't. I mean, honestly, his costume. I mean, he as a character doesn't really fit in. Like Bruce Wayne as a detective, great. The world's greatest detective fits in totally. It's just that costume vigilante stuff, not as much.
Now, I didn't tag you in it because I don't know if you saw it or not, but. There's an animated version of this.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
This is the thing we're referring to. They're making an animated version of this, and we're showing to the regular video audience. We'll grab it on the live stream in a second. But it's steampunk Batman going on here, and I was kind of curious to see if you were interested in this is something you were into.
Yeah, remember I'm like one of those guys that I'm a Marvel guy, but I love Batman. Yeah, Batman's awesome. And it's almost like I guess this version is whatever have you. He's like taking on what was it? What's it? Jack the Ripper?
Jack the Ripper, yeah.
Jack the Ripper. There you go. So once again, if this takes place in England, is like how the hell did Bruce Wayne end up in there? But it's a whole era thing. So I'm guessing once again going alternative multi-universe.
No, like the comic version of it looks cool. Like the costumes are very stylized. The art by Mike Mignola is amazing. That's great. The animated version feels too much like modern Batman as far as the movements and the costume goes to me, and the art style just isn't unique enough to separate it as its own stylized piece of work. The animation style feels just like the animated series and just like all these other regular Batman properties, and it feels like Batman time traveled instead of Batman is from this world. You know what I mean?
There was the whole series when, I guess, going again for that multi-universe kind of thing where they had the storylines where they had Cave Batman.
Yeah.
Where he literally wore a dead bat as his...
I remember that on the Batman Brave and the Bold, where they had multi-universe Batmans coming in the same thing, including Caveman Batman.
Yeah. There's the Man Bat itself. There's the... Victorian Batman. There's the Western Batman.
Yeah.
There's the Pirate Batman.
So is this one that you would watch at the theater? Would you pay theater ticket prices for it?
Theater money for it? It has to be theater quality, and I'm sad to say.
Would you watch Heavy Metal Batman, the one we just saw, Hellraiser Batman in the theater?
If it's done right, yes.
No, yeah, there you go. Your enthusiasm levels for Hellraiser Batman are definitely more than...
Because I want to see...
steampunk Batman.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to watch both.
Yeah,
I prefer...
We'll down with both. I mean, we're both going to watch it, obviously, but yeah. But anyways, that's another Batman story.
That's another thing real quick I want to see cosplayed. I want to see somebody do
I'm sure they've already done... Heavy Metal Batman? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing to see. I don't think I could pull it off. I'm like overweight couch potato Batman, but not Heavy Metal Batman, that's for sure.
What was that one? Bat Fink?
Yeah.
The little... we'll see.
I could probably do that, yeah.
Okay. Let's see, more Batman news. The state of Batman movie has been in a state of a flux since its inception. At first, Ben Affleck was set to direct, then not. Matt Reeves came on board and decided to throw out the original script in favor of his own. Kind of a dick move, but hey, it's whatever. And most recently, it's been speculated that Ben Affleck won't even end up starring in the film. Now it seems that one thing that we thought that was taken for granted, that Batman would fall under Warner Brothers, growing the DC cinematic universe, may not be true. Reeves confirmed that when he joined the project, Warner Brothers allowed him to approach the Batman as a standalone movie, and says he won't be connected to the larger DC universe. This week, Reeves recently told radio station KRCW via the Batman on Film that he may be working on more than just a rewrite of the Batman film, but an altogether separate Batman movie. Quoting him, he says, "Well, I have a vision on the way to do something with the character, of course, Batman, that feels like it's resonates with me personally, and a perspective that can grow out in other things." When Warner Brothers approached me, what they said was, "Look, it's a standalone. It's not a particular extended universe." Reeves has since clarified that Batman will be part of the DC universe, DCEU, and just meant that the movie won't have cameos from other heroes.
Yes, and that is nice to know. I think it was an interesting controversy enough to make a news story out of. And that, is he part of the DCU? Or does Warner Bros. Not have the confidence in this film to make it part of the larger universe, or is it just going to be a standalone thing and it's a test? Because another part of the story is that they are, we just talked about this, they're expanding outside of just the regular DC universe, like other standalone characters in their standalone film, the same way that Disney is doing with Star Wars, basically. And like, okay, that's great. Those are great storytelling opportunities. Because this one has had so many script problems, I'm like, is it going to be the Detective Batman, or is it just another superhero thing? And it looks like it's, from what the director has said, he's trying to create more of the noir detective version of Batman instead of just punchy Batman with a machine gun. So I'm like, oh, great.
Look, nothing against Batman through the genres. You got your Adam West, you got your Michael Keaton's, of course, George Clooney and Val Kilmer's and all that stuff. There's always been alternative versions, but there was never a force connection that it has to be this like, especially like, once again, Marvel, it has to be connected, related. Right. So it could be its own film, which I'll be perfectly fine with.
I'm okay with. Like, I don't really care if Ben Affleck doesn't have cameos from The Flash and Wonder Man and Cyborg.
Exactly.
Be your own thing, that's fine. Just be Bruce Wayne, the detective, and make it entertaining, and that's all I really care about.
Exactly. I don't expect Ben Affleck to don the metal Batman or the gaslight Batman. I'm gonna make it. Let the fans judge for themselves. If they like it, cool.
I would love to see maybe Court of Owls. That'd be a cool storyline for standalone. Yes. There are plenty of great storylines. Maybe the Batman's finally hunting down the Joker.
Yeah.
Figuring out who killed his family. There are a lot of just like simple detective stories that you can do within the Batman universe, and not make it so much about pow bam punching people,
or how I know this guy is, how does the relationships,
not just name drops.
Exactly. Some of the best like storylines, if you will, for Batman series were even like the video games. Everything from even Lego Batman to, of course, Batman Arkham Asylum, the Telltale versions of it. And of course, you got your animated. There's many versions, but it's all just the same character. It's just alternative.
Same
versions.
Vigilante Man, yeah.
Yeah. So
lots of stuff to go for.
Check it out. Put it out. We'll judge for ourselves.
Okay. Now, last part of the program is just going to be us discussing about movies that we've seen recently, because there are no great trailers that came out, so no movie trailer showdown this week. It's be the movie discussion. And we're going to talk about two different stories here. One is going to be...
No, my question.
Spoilers
or no spoilers?
We will probably spoil the hell out of this, and that's fine.
I want to be sure, because...
If you guys are planning to either watch Death Note or the Batman and Harley Quinn animated movie, we're going to spoil it because we're discussing it, and that's what it is. So there you go. Just a heads up. Yep. So first up is the one I thought was good. It's gonna, actually let's start with the bad one. Just so we end on a good note. We're gonna start with Death Note. So Netflix's Death Note. It came out this past week. It is. I thought it was going to be a series instead of like just a movie.
That's what I thought.
And so I was disappointed right off the bat. And I'm like, why is this going so fast? Like, shouldn't they be trying to stretch it out? Like, because it's a series. And then I looked at the time, like, oh, it's an hour and a half.
Exactly. I had to go back. I'm like, it didn't say season 1, episode 1 or anything.
One movie. I'm like, oh, well, that explains it. That's part of this issue here, because this is if you've ever seen the original Death Note's animated series from Japan, it is. I liked it. Not everybody does, but because it is less actiony, it's essentially a detective story, cat and mouse. I'll read you the synopsis from the movie version here. It says, Light Turner is a bright high school student who discovers a magic notebook that gives him the power to kill anyone in the world by writing their name down. With the help of his classmate Mia, played by Margaret Qualley, he enacts swift justice on criminals of the world as a godlike figure named Kira. But his father has joined forces with the mysterious detective known as L to find out Kira's true identity and put a stop to his reign of terror. And that is sort of the same version as the animated version, except that the animated version has actual tension and has actual stakes, and it's less of a teen drama. So
it had a feel of like Twilight for a second.
Yeah, well, especially towards the beginning when him and the girl are killing people essentially by writing the notebook, and they're also having sex and kissing and making out. And I'm like, that's a choice. And I'm like, in the animated version, he just has to go out and blurt that he has a notebook to impress her. Like, she basically has her own notebook in the animated version, and she's looking for him because he's already killing people, and she's a fan of Kira because he murdered the people, he killed the people who killed her parents, right? And so that relationship is also very twisted in the animated version, and this one is slightly healthier, I guess, or more normal, in that she's not just a fan, but she's apparently attracted to him before he gets in a book in the first place in like the first few minutes of the film. But this movie sucks. I mean, that's the bottom line for me. It's the best thing about this entire film is probably Willem Dafoe as the Shinigami, and that's a kind of it. He does a good job, and he didn't really have to try too hard. He's in full, like, it's not CGI makeup. He's in mostly prosthetics, like practical effects. So I think that added to the vibe of like him feeling like he's really there, because he was. And I think Willem Dafoe is the best part of this film.
Him alone, is great. His voice was awesome. I was kind of sad on the costume. I was expecting more detail in the face of, like he had the grin, but it seemed very Muppety. Like only the mouth could open and close. He couldn't. Yeah. I wanted to see him grin.
I think that would be too little too CGI if they did it that way.
Yeah, because did you watch the whole thing?
I prefer practical.
Like, did you watch the whole thing, even the during the credits?
No.
Did you make it? Okay. Spoilers on that part. It was almost a combination gag reel, behind the scenes stuff on the credits, and the ending song. What the fuck was up with that? It didn't match the video at all whatsoever. Yeah. They used like some kind of weird 60s song, and I understand that they tried to go with a dark humor on it. But this
feels very much like they're making a lot of jokes in the film, and it's just not tonally appropriate. I'm like, it's like, okay. Arlene says, but it's much more enjoyable than that 2-part movie in the past.
There is a live action. They've done it before.
Is this the like Korean version or like Asian version?
I want to say so. I haven't seen it myself, so I can't make that judgment on that.
No, I'd rather just watch the animated series. Like there's multiple series episodes, but the first one is probably the best. Yeah. But 24 episodes. They're really squishing in like literally 24 hours of storyline and footage and character development into an hour. Yeah. And it's just so hard. And that's part of the problem of the story, is that the pacing is so fast.
Oh yeah.
Like within the first 20 minutes, he goes from getting the notebook to literally murdering somebody. And the murders themselves are very Saw.
They're very like Final Destination.
The Final Destination. That these were accidents, but like it's also very kind of gory in that you see the deaths and the explosions of blood. But it's also sort of comical in that respect. And that's very much a different tone than the animated version. And that the animated version, the deaths weren't shown, and so they were even more like sinister, because you don't actually see them die, but you know that they do. And so that sinister tone is gone, and it's also counterpointed by the fact that Light is actual genius, but he has the mask of being a good person, a good student, and so that's why nobody suspects him. In this version of it, he's basically a loser. he's a school loser. People bullies pick on him. He's a loner, and so that aspect of his character in the movie version, like, oh, that kid, right? He's a murderer. You know, you look at him on the street, like you talk to the high school friends, like, who's the one kid who's all alone, who's likely to murder everybody? Oh, that guy. Yeah, let's go talk to him. As opposed to the animated version, which is like, oh, he's the least likely person you'd think of, and in the animated version, he's also helps out in the actual mystery of trying to figure out who he is, and it's this whole like double entendre, like secondary plot line where he loses his memory, or he intentionally loses his memory of the notebook so that he can like have a clean expression to like the great detective, like actually help him out to try to find L or Kira rather, and it's complicated, but it's super interesting to me anyways. But yeah, so there you go.
I think with a teenage boy, he was a slave to the pussy. He pretty much just gave in her like yeah. She, as soon as she was like not giving him any attention, walking away, he's like, I got this book that kills people if when I write the names on it. Yeah. Like, well, will you be my girlfnow? You know,
she's like, yeah,
she's like, oh,
you're,
so
you're a bad boy, sure.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna now it's our book now. It's our death note. It's our thing. We're killing people. We're doing this. I'm like,
and I definitely missed seeing her, because her character in the animated has her own death. Shinigami, and her own death note, and I'm like, oh, that's a much better plotline than just having his girlfriend.
She almost had to remind me, like, once again about Twilight when she had like that dead face every once in a while.
She did look a lot like her, like that same character. Yeah,
Edward. That was the only part I was missing, is him just glowing and sparkling in the daylight. Yeah, but I
so not a recommendation from you.
Watch it. I say watch it to make your own personal jokes. I'm sometimes.
I'd say save yourself.
I'd say like
go watch the animated version.
Some movies are so bad that they're good. This one, just watch it, because honestly, it should have been one of those Mystery Science Theater kind of things. Like
I would have enjoyed it more as a Mystery Science Theater like commentary. Like, oh, they're just making fun of these guys.
Exactly. Because my biggest thing on it is the Willem Dafoe character itself is like, I wish it was more animated. Like you see the like close, like in the animes.
Well, no, they put him in shadows thing, and that kind of helps make him more mysterious and a darker figure. And I think they also CGI him up a little bit in there to make the prosthetics and the practical effects look a little smoother. And I like that. I gotta say, I enjoyed this version of it as opposed to him just being a CGI character, which I think he was in other live action versions. He was just totally CG.
If you can watch once again, if you could punish yourself to watch the end credits, they do have him in the full body costume. Yeah. They do this thing where they do the dots, of course, the lines of the face and the little beams shooting him on it. So he wears a majority. He does wear the feathered gear and like like a bodysuit. Yeah. But I guess it's the obvious.
I would have liked to see him taller too. But that's just
they just for angles and such. They did what they could, but I liked that they had the suspense, because the guy was like became a little bitch as soon as he came around. He's like, he was practically
I think
screaming.
That's their version of comedy.
Yeah,
I think they were trying to make the part comedic and those over exaggerated screams, and then it suddenly switches off.
Okay,
and that's also very much not like the animated version.
Now we tackled on all those other characters. Now, what did you think? What's your opinion on the L character?
I thought it was okay. I mean, I had less of an issue with that than just the light character, because the L character is still a detective. He's still a genius, and he spends the movie trying to get this guy to prove that he's Kira and try to double trump him. And so that character is fairly authentic to the animated version.
His weird. Well, obviously, I didn't see the animated version, so his weird kind of like origin story, like they didn't really know his real name. Of course, he had
and that's part of the thing that they can't show him,
kind of thing,
because Kira can kill you if he sees has your face in his mind and he knows your real name. Then he can kill whatever he wants. So that's the cat and mouse game version. Like, I can't reveal who I really am to this person because I think he's Kira, and he can't reveal who he is, who his true name is, which is Kira the murderer.
Now, was he like a ninja or anything in the animated series because of the whole wearing the mask / hood thing?
I don't think he didn't wear the hood in the animated version necessarily. I think that's more like a modern adaptation of like, oh, with facial recognition and with all kinds of things, you would be able to tell someone's face. So, yeah.
Hey, Rob, just wanted to say hi and acknowledge you. Awesome.
Rob Parkers in the chat room. Hey.
From West Virginia. Awesome. Glad to see you on here, man. Talking a little bit about Death Note, and we're going to talk a little about Batman in a second.
Yep.
But I say watch it.
Okay, so you watch it. My recommendation is like, don't bother.
Time of day.
Go watch the animated version if you're interested in like something. It's an older anime. It is less actiony. But if you like suspense movies, if you like almost procedurals, I like cop procedurals. The animated version is definitely the version to go with. So there you go. Next story is Batman. We also watched the Batman and Harley Quinn animated movie that came out this week. So what did you? Well, I'll read the synopsis for everybody, and then we'll talk about what we thought about it. The synopsis is really simple. Batman and Nightwing join forces with Harley Quinn to stop a global threat brought about by Poison Ivy and Plant Master. There we go. That's it. So what did you think of the movie, man?
It was good. It definitely got the feel of the old Batman animated series.
I think even more than the Batman animated series, it almost had notes of Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
Especially if you look at just the intro credits, that sets the tone for the entire movie, and that definitely feels irreverent and jokey and a little more humorous than Batman the animated series, more like Batman the Bold, but like somewhere in between, basically.
Now I'm kind of glad that they actually went with Nightwing instead of Robin.
Yeah.
Of course they got.
Well, I don't think they could have done that sex scene between Harley Quinn and like under 18 Robin.
It is definitely an adult. This is definitely
this is rated R. Isn't it?
Was it? Well,
I think it is. Well, they had enough F-bombs. They had enough, flipped birds. I think it's a rated R movie.
Oh yeah. So it definitely, because PG-13, you'd have to obviously water it down like hell. But definitely rated R animated.
Do you think it needed the rated R, or it's just like nice that it has it?
It's nice that it has it. I think.
Yeah, I don't think it needed. I think it could have been clean, and it still would have been entertaining and fun because the joke stuff would have still landed.
Oh yeah.
But I do like the fact that they had the freedom for Harley Quinn to just use F-bombs and curse all the time and flip people off, and for that sex scene to be there, because it's just fun. And I think that the success of the Suicide Squad allows these studios to be comfortable with, yes, there is an audience for this kind of stuff. And so give them free reign to do what they want to with it. And I think it added some nice adult moments to it.
I love the humor in it.
Yeah.
There were so many jokes, adult jokes and whatnot, everything from the relationship between the characters to the characters themselves, of how they evolved, their connections. Obviously, if you're a type of guy that likes Easter eggs and whatnot, almost every scene where they go meet somebody, you can say, "Oh, he's the so and so from a so and so," or "It's that so and so from the," like, "Oh my god!" Like, and then they mention certain things and whatnot. So
I loved all the. There's a scene in there where it's a sidekick convention. They go to this dive bar to get information about where Poison Ivy is and Plant Master. And you see all these sidekicks from the animated series that you haven't seen since, like the twins and a bunch of like gangster people. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a nod to nostalgia, including like I saw one of the sidekicks from like the Olympus episode. I'm like, oh, I recognize that one. And Rob in chat room says, with Suicide Squad being such a huge hit and Harley Quinn as badass, did this new Batman follow suit and do her justice? I want to say,
on its own. On its own. It didn't really even have Suicide Squad to
it's not Suicide related. It's very much from the universe of the animated series, and that's the Harley Quinn they pull from. But she does make reference to that particular costume and like her wardrobe. Like in this particular animated series, again, spoilers, folks. Harley Quinn is at the beginning of the movie rather. She is trying to straighten out her life. Like she's been released from prison. She's on parole. She's not doing the bad villain thing at this point. She's actually working at a diner, like a superhero themed diner who dresses as Harley Quinn. So there's like double, thing for her.
And the joke is like, once again, one of the jokes. She was actually wearing one of the alternative Harley Quinn costumes.
Yeah,
I think it was from either. If it wasn't Arkham Asylum, no, not Arkham Asylum, because it wasn't the nurse one, but it was one of the.
I think it was the early versions of like in the Batman series.
I think it was the Lego Batman.
Could have been
outfit,
but Batman and Nightwing need her help to try to find Poison Ivy, who she's friends with, and so Nightwing goes to try to find her, and he does, and she's at first refuses to help out the good guys because she's not getting paid for it. There's nothing in it for her, but at the same point, you could tell she's also very anxious for the excitement of being in the mask and cape world. And so there's a huge fight scene. She's totally badass. She holds her own. She's also funny and irreverent, and I think this. If you like the animated version of Harley Quinn, that's the version they use. They don't use the Margaret Robbie version of it.
You don't get the voice.
Yeah.
You don't get the voice from the animated series.
But it is a very badass version of Harley Quinn in that she doesn't take any lip from anybody. She's totally jokey and funny, and stands up to Batman and Nightwing at several points, and verbally and physically. So I'm like, yeah.
Her voice reminds me of like a very New York kind of girl.
Yes.
Like in New York, like, I was expecting her to say coffee or coffee, or I can't know girls' voice.
Yeah, but it is like, to me, it does actually show it's a good character, but again, it's more like Harley Quinn from the animated version, like the good, in a good way.
Oh yeah, totally. This one movie I highly recommend for anybody to watch, especially if you're a fan of the animated series. I love the jokes.
Yeah, but again, as far as like style goes, it's between Batman the animated series and Batman Brave and the Bold, and that it's funny, but it's also like good action and seriousness, and the art quality is definitely more towards this. It's not quite as like silly kid funny as Batman Brave and the Bold.
But you get to see Batman smile
a
couple times in this.
Several times.
When he smiles, especially, is when they do go to that dive bar with all these like ex minions, if you will, from all the animated series. There's this awesome reference to the 60s Batman, where it was like some of the minions where the guy's wearing the cat thing and he started like mocking Batman. Remember this?
Yeah, it's a
Remember
club.
you used to do this?
It's a sidekick club. It's those, it's a club music going on, and Harley Quinn singing. And that's how the fight starts when one of these sidekicks makes fun of Batman by doing the bat dance. And so like lots of jokes in there that if you're a Batman fan and you like the animated series, you're going to get and you're going to enjoy. And in that respect, it is good. It's definitely less serious than like the other animated films where they're strictly trying to sell like a dramatic story. Oh, This is not as serious as that at all. There's a lot of jokes there.
And especially for, I guess, a little tribute, if you will, to the 60s Batman, you do get your pangs and pals and bonus.
Oh, and they do give, what's the other guy's name who came up with Batman? It's not just...
Oh, Bill Finger.
Bill Finger. He's actually in the credits. God. I saw that. Like in the credits, I saw like he came up and they're giving him full credits. Like...
Bob Kane.
Yeah, Bob Kane and Bill Finger. I'm like, oh, there you go. Look at them.
If you guys get a chance to watch, I personally just recently watched it myself. If you have Hulu, or at least find a version of how to get access to it, there's a great documentary of Bill Finger on him being the co-creator of Batman.
And remember, it's Bill Finger, not Bill Fingers. That's a different kind of movie.
Singular.
Yes.
Singular. But definitely check it out. If you're a Batman fan, it's a really good documentary. He pretty much gets the credit that he deserves because he didn't get it for like a long time.
There you go.
But yeah, watch this movie.
But it's fun. Yeah. I also did like the lore they gave Plant Master. I'm like, I didn't know who this character was. I'm like, he's a bad version of Swamp Thing, and they're like, oh, he's a Dryad from a different dimension. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, well then, okay, of course, why not?
All right. Colin, what's your favorite scene? What's your favorite part?
Probably
of the
sex scene.
The sex scene?
Yeah, really? Yeah. Well, in the fact that it was like super adult. I'm like, wait, this
is happening.
I was like, this is Batman. Like, it's not graphic, but it's very fade to black. But it's like...
It goes down.
Yeah. Nightwing is tied up to a bed because Harley Quinn gets the drop on him when eventually at the end, when like, he confronts her and like tries to get her help. And so she ties him up to the bed and she's just trying to talk to herself about like, should I murder him? Should I kill him? Or should I just let him go? And she chooses her costumes and she drops her clothes and the sexualization of like, she's bending over from the waist and Nightwing reacts appropriately. And when she turns around, she sees his reaction and she's like, oh, I haven't had much action down there in quite a while. Nobody's anxious to go with a jailbird.
Exactly.
And then and he's like, the things I do for Gotham. And it's very funny and interesting. I'm like, that is something you would never see in the animated series or in anything like on the Cartoon Network. So I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Other than her giving a finger, my favorite scene, I would say.
And I mean flipping of the bird finger, not
fingering
Nightwing,
but whatever. If he's into that,
we don't know. He may be.
Make him flap.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's the tit punching.
Oh yeah, between him and her and Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy. It was like
there's a big battle scene.
It was like a girl fight.
It's a girl fight.
Blah, blah, blah.
They're friends, and so like she's like, "Come on, Poison Ivy, you don't do this." And they get to a fight, and like at one point, Poison Ivy punches her in the boob, and she's like, "Hey!"
And he punches her back in the boob, and it was like, the things girls do, just like in real life, punch each other in the tit.
It's very like best friend fighting.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's because they're supposed to be like fun, interesting characters. I think they were in a relationship at one point. In like the comic series, and
because especially with the Gotham City Sirens and all that, definitely. Which is hopefully that gives a nod to the live action one that's supposedly going to happen, and they bring that in. One of the best things in spoilers, Swamp Thing is in it.
Yes,
and he does.
But it's just a really crap cameo.
He's
and
like,
it's
I'm here. Then I go.
Yes, you're doing bad, Plant Master. But I'm not here to judge. Goodbye.
Fuck it, I guess.
Yeah, and that's definitely the joke. And that even like the Batman and Harley Quinn and I were like, wait, what? What are you just gonna do something? Right. Kill him, smash him. And he's just, oh man.
Like,
and
it's not my shit.
it's a very comedic ending as well. So don't expect like a super amazing, and like it is.
And watch it
jokey,
all the way to the end. He kind of tuned out before he waited.
Yeah.
There is a semi-post credit on there where Harley Quinn is a televised a psychoanalyst therapist kind of person. Then it turns like in order to get through your trivial tribulations and whatnot of your relationship or stuff, you have to go through the obstacle course, and it becomes like a combination of Ninja Warrior and Wipeout, including the big red balls. So check it out.
Big red balls. There you go.
Exactly.
But that's it, folks. That's it for the show. Thanks for hanging out with us while we geek out about all this good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If you like the podcast and you want to help support us in any way, shape, or form, you can do so at...
Do it! At geekbytespodcast.com/support.
There you go. But thanks for listening and watching, for hanging out with us. For Geek Bytes Podcast, I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And remember, folks, to go geek out about something.